Peace, y'all. Saj again, coming through with a couple more definitions. Today, I'm in the A section of Black's Law Dictionary, 5th edition, and just setting the stage for a grander conversation, grander dialogue, and just want to make sure the message that I'm trying to convey comes through clearly without any entropy. All right, the first one I'm gonna go with today is abatement. Abatement is a reduction, decrease, or diminution, the suspension or cessation in whole or in part of a continuing charge such as rent. Legacies, a proportional diminution or reduction of the pecuniary legacies when the funds or assets out of which such legacies are payable are not sufficient to pay them in full. Model Probate Court, Section 184. See Ademption, infra, as to specific legacies and devices. It's a nuance. See nuance. Plea and abatement. See plea and taxes. Diminution or decrease in the amount of tax imposed. All right. Now we're going to go to abdication. It is the renunciation of the privileges or prerogatives of an office, the act of a sovereign in renouncing and relinquishing his government or throne, so that either the throne is left entirely vacant or is filled by a successor appointed or elected beforehand. Abduction is the offense of taking away a wife, child, or ward by fraud and persuasion or open violence. Model Penal Code, Section 212.4. By statute in some states, abduction includes the withdrawal of a husband from his wife, as where another woman alienates his affection and entices him away and causes him to abandon his wife. See also alienation of affections and kidnapping. All right. Abeyance. It's a lapse in succession during which there is no person in whom title is vested. In the law of estates, the condition of a freehold when there is no person in being in whom it is vested. All right. And we're going to flip over to abstraction. Is taking from with intent to injure or defraud, wrongful abstraction. Is unauthorized and illegal taking or withdrawing of funds, etc., the appropriation thereof to taker's benefit. All right, let's skip a couple pages ahead to administrative. Connotates of or pertains to administration, especially management, as by managing or conducting, directing or superintending the execution, application, or conduct of persons or things, particularly having the character of executive or ministerial action. In this sense, administrative functions or acts are distinguished from such as are judicial. Right. Alienation. In real property law, the transfer of property and possessions of lands, tenements, and other things from one person to another. The term is particularly applied to absolute conveyances of real property, the voluntary and complete transfer from one person to another, disposition by will, every mode of passing realty by the act of the party, as distinguished from passing it by the operations of law. See also restraint on alienation. All right, two more. Anarchy is the absence of government, state, or society where there is no law or supreme power, lawlessness, or political disorder, destructive of and confusion in government. At its best, it pertains to a society made orderly by good manners rather than law, in which each person produces according to his powers and receives according to his needs. And at its worst, the word pertains to a terroristic resistance of all present government and social order, from criminal anarchy. See criminal. And last but not least, we'll end off on annexation. Annexation is the act of attaching, adding, joining, or uniting one thing to another, generally spoken of the connection of a smaller or subordinate thing with a larger or principal thing. Term is usually applied with respect to land or fixtures as the acquisition of territory or land by a nation, state, or municipality, the legal incorporation of a town or city into another town or city, the attaching an illustrative or auxiliary document to a deposition, pleading, deed, etc. may be called annexing it. In the law relating to fixtures, actual annexation includes every movement by a chattel is joined or united to the property. Constructive annexation is the union of such things as have been holding parcel of the realty, but which are not actually annexed, fixed, or fastened to the property. See also fixture.